So let me bring this out in the book of Proverbs, chapter 10 and 18. Right? All warfare is based upon deception. Right? That's the Messiah's motto. Right? Let me bring this out real quick. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 10 and verse 18. And it reads, Proverbs 10 and 18 reads, he that hideth hatred with lying lips and that uttereth slander is a fool. Right? And that's what the so-called white man does through his media. He slanders. Right? He calls people terrorists, savages, like he did the Native American Indians, to justify his blood lust, to make his prey look like the damn assailant. That's what he does. He slanders. Right? Come up with magic and spells on the minds of the people. Right? Unconventional means of warfare, like slander campaigns, assassinating the image of people, putting terms and stigmas on people, putting jackets on them to do what? Deceive the mind of the simple so that they get their full support. Right? That's the Hegelian dialectic. Problem, reaction, solution. Order out of chaos. And he's the same old serpent, right? The same old wicked devil. He plays these little tactics out over and over and over again on the minds of the simple, right? Labels them as terrorists, savages, thugs, and criminals. Unwanted, undesirable. And then once he begins to move them out of the way, he doesn't look like the villain and the terrorist that he truly is. He puts that stigma on his prey while he slides through the back door. As he slides through the back door, you know, with blood all over his hands and, you know, the weapon, you know, somewhere at the bottom of the river, right? As if he's the standard of righteousness and uprightness. Let me bring this out again. Proverbs 10 and 18. He that hideth hatred with lying lips and he that uttereth slander is a fool. Right? And that's what the so-called white man is. Right? It said that in the book of Psalms. The fool has said in his heart that there's no God. Hey, and that's the greatest fool on the planet, the so-called white man. Right? That uses the media to do what? His disinformation. You know, manipulation and deception. Deceive the minds of the people. Right? Making the good guy look like the bad guy. The bad guy look like the good guy. Right? And get the full support of people. You know? And it's not about being pro-Israel or pro-Palestine. It's about being pro-righteousness. Right? And there's only one people to know the ways of righteousness. These heathens, we're supposed to be teaching them, right? And this is why it's needed that there's one more profitable be put back in rulership, right? Starting with Yahweh Shah Hamashiach, King David, and the elect, right? A more profitable kingdom, because the whole earth is in mourning, right up under this rulership. The ecosystem, the air, the animals, and most of all the people are languishing, right? And crying out for new rulership and management. This is the book of Isaiah 5 and 20. It says, woe to him that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter, right? That's what you see right now within the West, Western media, right? Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. You know, and the so-called white man, he will deem himself the standard for righteousness. He'll create laws, just like with the Native American Indians, come up with covenants and agreements and pacts and violate every last one of them. If the white man, like I said, is representing righteousness and godliness, he's just using deception and guile. And at the last, you'll realize this is the same old serpent. This is the same old devil. This is why the Native American said he speaks with what? A forked tongue. talks out of both sides of his neck. He'll be saying peace and, oh, let me get that. Psalm 50, I believe it's 55 and 20, right? He'll be saying peace and there'll be war in his heart, right? Let me get that in the book of Psalms. He'll be the one that sit at the table and he'll set over peace agreements. He'll get these nations to sign his pacts and his agreements. And at the last, he'll be the one to not observe any of the agreements that he signed up to be in accordance with. I'm looking for the one that says the word of his mouth was smoother than butter. There it is. I said it right. Psalms 55 and 20 reads, he has put forth his hand against such as be with peace with him. He has broken his covenant. That's what the white man does, right? He's a truce breaker. Look at the Geneva Convention, right? He has all of these summits. Look at the Constitution. Look at all of these different, treaties that he breaks, right? It says, he has put forth his hand against such that be at peace with him. He has broken his covenant. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. Hey, he's the perfect devil. That's how the Most High created him. He come up talking like Joel Osteen, but he'll have a pocket of poison for your water. I mean, he'll be touching on your children, teaching them an evil lesson. I mean, every chance you get, you turn your back, he'll be slandering you to your neighbor. You know what I mean? He's the perfect devil. His words are smoother than butter. He's a wordsmith. He's a wordsmith. He's like that cat off Puss in Boots. That cat is very ferocious. But whenever that cat's back is against the wall, I got children, so the nature of that cat on Puss in Boots, whenever he's cornered, his eyes get real big, his pupils get dilated, he'll take his hat off and hold it like this, you know what I mean? He'll look cute and cuddly. Hey, and once he get the ups on you, the claws is coming back out. He's throwing that fedora back on, he pulling out that spear. Hey, Puss in Boots get busy. But he knows how to use guile and deception to accomplish his desired outcome. The words of his mouth, smoother than butter. The perfect devil. And like I said, he uses his military and his media to get what he wants. And then label his prey the bad guy. Right? Proverbs 17 and 15 reads, he that justifieth the wicked and he that condemneth the just, even they both are an abomination to the Lord. Right? Hey, he that justifieth the wicked and condemneth the just, even they both are an abomination. Right? And these people are abominable. They're ignorant, they're deceived, they're manipulated by who? The ultimate deceiver, the father of lies. Right? The words of his mouth, like the scriptures say, smoother than butter. He's very believable, especially if you don't have the knowledge and the understanding of the scriptures. If you're just operating on the eye test, the so-called white man will pass it 9 out of 10 times, right? Hey, but the Lord's elect, you're not going to be able to deceive us. And most of all, like it says in Job 12 and 16, the deceived and the deceiver are the Lord's, right? If you're deceived, that's because he's allowed you to be deceived. Right? The Most High will put a spirit in the mouth of a prophet to mislead somebody into utter darkness. Right? Into weeping and gnashing of teeth. Right? The Most High doesn't need anybody. Right? Like I said, the Most High is the one that's mustering the host of the battle. Right? The Most High is the one that's setting up the conditions that you see happening in the world. Right? Let me get this in the book of Isaiah 13:3. Right? That's gonna further reiterate that point. Isaiah chapter 13 and verse 3 reads, Isaiah 13:3 reads, I have commanded my sanctified ones, I have called also my mighty ones for my anger, even them that rejoice in my highness. The noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. The Lord of hosts mustereth the host of the battle. Right? Hey, and that great people are the intercontinental ballistic missiles. Right? And the Lord of hosts is the Lord of armies. This is written in Exodus 15:3. God is the man of war. Yahweh is his name. Yes, God is love, but what is love? Right? Because we're going to get that in Joel, the 3rd chapter. Right? The Most High is orchestrating all of the pieces on the chessboard. All of the different nations, he's actually getting them to stand at attention and get ready to be judged out there in the Middle East. Right? As is written. And guess who he's using to bring them out? Hey, what the Bible calls the least of the flock. Right? Let me go ahead and edify on that real quick. Right? This is Jeremiah chapter 40. This is Jeremiah chapter 50 and verse 45. Right? Those same people that are the 1% elite rulers. They run the central banks. Like I said, they run the media. They run all of the different monetary systems. Right? The worst of the heathen. That's who he's going to use to do what? Bring all of these other nations into the Third World War. This is Jeremiah chapter 50 and verse 45. And it reads, Therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord, that he that taketh against Babylon and his purposes, that he has purposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. Right? Once again, Jeremiah 50 and 45. Therefore, hear ye the counsel of the Lord, that he hath taken against Babylon. And we know Babylon is U.S. America. Right? Therefore, hear ye the counsel of the Lord, that ye have spoken against Babylon, and his purposes that he hath purposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Right? And the Chaldeans in ancient time were the witches and the sorcerers and the warlocks. So who are the Chaldeans in this modern time? That's the international banking families, right? That 13% of, so-called blue bloods, the DuPonts, the Gettys, the Rothschilds, the Oppenheimers, right? Those people that are in every land controlling all of the different faculties and the departments of commerce. They run things, right? Especially the monetary system, be it money, be it all raw resources and material, right? But this is speaking on those Chaldeans, those that are tapping into that spiritual demon Satan's energy, that are getting guidance, really, starting with the Vatican, which is the spiritual headquarters of the Roman Empire at this present time, the revived Roman Empire. The spiritual headquarters being the Vatican, the financial headquarters being London, and the military headquarters being what? Babylon, America. And the head of the military arm of the Roman Empire is Joe Biden at this present time, right? But once again, Jeremiah 50 and 45, therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord, that he's spoken against Babylon, America, and his purposes that he has purposed against the land of the Chaldeans, those gutter rat fake Jews, sorcerers and witches and warlocks. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. Right? And the least of the flock, those are those Amalekites, those Khazarian Ashkenazi Jews, right, from Eastern Europe, that have been set in their land since the 1940s through the Balfour Declaration at the end of the British Mandate, right? Those people that actually created Hamas, right? Hamas is a creation of Israeli and British intelligence along with the CIA, who are all interconnected to do what? Use Hamas as a stool pigeon and, controlled opposition to bring about their order out of chaos or their desired outcome, right? Their disproportionate revenge attacks, right? And like I said, Gaza is an open air concentration camp. Gaza is an open air concentration camp that they've been relegated to. Israel and Egypt controls what's going in and going out of this 25 square mile, open air concentration camp. So if they do get weapons, how are they getting them? Right? These are things that you should ask yourself to let you know that it's all a dog and pony show. It's all like the Mossad, Israeli intelligence says, deception. All wars based on deception, right? But it said the least of the flock, right? Those Amalekites. America stands with Israel, and America with all of its military arsenal. This is why these other nations are, actually giving power to the lies, because they don't want to get cut off and sanctioned, and they don't want to get marginalized and have, the serpent turn on them, that the death adder to turn on them. So what are they doing? Trying to stay out of it, but the Most High, He's the one that's going to draw them into the battle, right? Like it says in Ezekiel 38, He's going to put hooks in their jaws. And we're going to get into that, right? But bear with me, I'm going to bring this out in Jeremiah 49 and 20, right? All of these nations that just want to sit on the sideline, hey, it said the king's heart is in the hand of the Most High. I believe Proverbs 21, right? Let me get that first. The king's heart is in the hands of the Most High, right? Netanyahu, Kim Jong-un, I wouldn't give a damn. What world leader is sitting on the sideline, going to his own quarter, worrying about his own people? Hey, when the Most High tells them to get involved, hey, He's going to put a hook in their ass and grab them into the valley of Jehoshaphat, Yahweh decision, right? This is Proverbs 21. It reads, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. As the rivers of water, He turneth it whithersoever He will, right? Proverbs 20, 24. Man's comings and goings of the Lord. Proverbs 16 and 9. Man's heart devises his way, hey, but the Most High, He's the one that has the final say-so, right? So jumping right back to Jeremiah 49 and 20. Let me bring this out. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 49, and verse 20. Thank y'all for bearing with me. Jeremiah chapter 49 and verse 20 reads, therefore hear the counsel of the Lord that He hath taken against Edom, and His purpose, that He hath purpose against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely He shall make their habitation desolate with them. It says the earth is moved at the noise of their fall. At the cry of the noise there was heard in the Red Sea, right? Hey, so it lets you know the least of the flock, right? It says surely He shall make their habitation desolate. The earth is moved at the noise of their fall, right? A great shaking in the earth. It says the earth is going to be moved at the noise of the fall of these Amalekites. Why? That's going to be what? ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles, right? Imposing nuclear annihilation on the whole entire earth, right? Babylon the Great, America is going to be clean dissolved off of the face of the earth, as well as that land over there that's being, controlled and ran illegitimately by those bastards, right? It said that the whole earth is gonna make noise, right? It's gonna move out of place, right? Let me get this in the book of Isaiah 24:19. Hey, because it's all written up in the scriptures, right? This is why Matthew 13:10, Yahweh Shah told his disciples, "It's given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of God, but unto them is not given." Wisdom of Solomon 22:2-22 said, "As for the mysteries of God, they knew them. Now they didn't even desire the wages of righteousness." Watch Psalms 147:19. It's not given to them to be servants or to understand these oracles, right? This is Isaiah chapter 24 and verse 19. Isaiah 24:19 reads, "The earth is utterly broken down. The earth is clean dissolved. The earth is moved exceedingly. The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, and shall be removed like a cottage. And the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again." Right? Hey, the earth is gonna reel to and fro like a drunkard, right? The earth is gonna move out of its place, like a cottage, like a trailer, right? Everybody got a glimpse of those trailer park trash, you know, how they could just put their car on wheels, their house on wheels, and relocate it. The same thing is gonna happen with the earth, because the earth abides forever. But when that impact, that initial impact happens when millions of missiles hit their target, going from nation to nation, intercontinental. Hey, it's gonna be something unlike anything that this earth has ever seen, heard, or felt, because the earth is actually gonna move out of its place. It's gonna reel to and fro like a drunkard, right? Once again, Isaiah 24:19 reads, "The earth is exceedingly broken down. The earth is clean dissolved. The earth is moved exceedingly. The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, and shall be removed like a cottage." Hey, the earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, and shall be removed like a cottage, it says in the scriptures, right? Let me get this in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 38. In verse 3, right? The Most High mustered the host of the battle. He's the one that controls the hearts of these kings. And he's the one that's aligning the pieces on the chessboard so that his will can be done in the earth, right? And executed. This is Ezekiel 38 and verse 3, and it reads, "And say," start with Ezekiel 38:2. It says, "Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him." Right? Hey, and that's Vladimir. You know, Vladimir Putin. That's speaking about Russia. You know, and their leader is Vladimir Putin. That's their king. Right? And that word Putin means the path of the way. Right? It says, "Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog," which is Russia, "the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say, Thus saith the Lord power, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn thee back, and put hooks in thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth, and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Persia," right? Because, hey, modern day Persia is what? Those East Indians over there in Iran, right? Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. Gomer, you know, Gomer is Turkey, another country that is heavy in end time prophecies. Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah, and the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee. Right? Be thou prepared, and prepare, Shalom. Be thou prepared, and prepare thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. Be thou a guard unto them. So Russia the guard to Turkey, the ancient Persians, which are Iran, right? They're a guard to Libya. Remember Muammar Gaddafi? You know, Ethiopia, right? Who's the Italian Mussolini? But the scripture has commanded that Russia, you know, in these proxy wars, right, with the smaller nations, Russia is a guard. They're allies. They're protecting countries like Iran, right, who are the ancient Persians, Turkey, Ethiopia. This is why America really doesn't get involved in their affairs. Just like right now with, what's the country that's part of USSR that is being toppled and dominated, that America's trying to be an ally unto, not Croatia. What's the name of the country right outside of Russia? It's pretty much a part of the USSR. Baby blue and yellow are the colors. I can't think of it right away, but Russia, Gog and Magog, is a guard unto Persia, Libya, Ethiopia at this present time, right? And the scripture said that the Most High is going to put hooks in the jaws of those Russians to do what? You don't want to get involved, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to yank you into this conflict, because Russia's a heavy player in end-time prophecies, right? Because when you're dealing with thermonuclear capabilities, Russia is really one of the world's leaders with it. You know, Russia is one of the world's, you know, most dominant forces when it comes down to their nuclear capabilities, right? And that's who's gonna bring judgment on America, a lion's share of it, right? You know, and right now, those people that are living in the land of Israel, you know, they say that they are a manifestation of biblical prophecy, the Lord's people being brought back into rulership. But it's prophesied in the scriptures, when we come back into rulership, there'll be no more wars, right? We'll be one body, one people, one government. Because right now, the electoral system in Israel is called a Knesset, K-E-N-N-E-S-S-E-T, the Knesset, which is 120 seats, right? The Zionists, they control an aspect of it, you know, less than 10 seats, right? The Zionists, they are a political party. Like I said, they're not a religious movement. And they have all type of different electoral and political parties that are part of that electoral system in Israel called the Knesset, right? But that's just to further prove that they are not the Israelites of the Bible. Neither is that a fulfillment of biblical prophecy, right? But let's further prove that, right? This is Ephesians 4:4. I'll start with Ephesians 4:4. Ephesians 4:4. What does it tell you in the scriptures as far as the righteous order that the Most High set up, right? When the kingdom of heaven is established, is it going to be divided? Is it going to be a Knesset with 120 seats? Is it going to be uproars of the people demanding that their political leaders be ousted out of their seats? Or is it going to be uproars of the people, marches? Right? Let me get this real quick. In the book of Ephesians. chapter 4. Ephesians chapter 4 and 4. Bear with me, Aki. It's kind of windy out here. Like I said, today is October the 20th, 2023. It's a Friday here on the west end of Atlanta. And it's windy out here. All right, let me get this in the book of Ephesians. The church of Ephesus, right, is who Paul was writing to in the book of Ephesians, right? Laying down the order and the structure that they were supposed to abide by, right? As is written, the kingdom of heaven is within us, right? When we adhere to and observe these laws, statutes, and commandments, that's the closest we'll get to the kingdom of heaven on this side, right? And I'm having a real hard time finding the book of Ephesians. Bear with me, Aki. Bear with me, bear with me. Okay, here we go. The water of habitation, Bahashem Harakrakadash. This is Ephesians chapter 4, verse 4. It says, there is one body and one spirit, even as ye are called in one hope of your calling. One Lord, one faith, one baptism, above all and through all, and in you all. But unto every one of us is given grace according to the measure of the gift of Yahweh Shah HaMashiach. But once again, there is one body and one spirit, and as ye are called in one hope. It says, there's one body and one spirit, even as ye are called in one hope of your calling. One Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God, and Father of all, who is above all and through all, and in you all, right? So in that land, like I said, their electoral system is called the Knesset. 120 seats, and they all are doing what? Disagreeing. They don't stand in solidarity, or they're not unified in anything in that land. Why? Because the rightful heirs are not in that land, right? Therefore, like Gamal Nasser said, hey, you're never going to be able to dwell in peace because those people left black and they came back white. Gamal Nasser, that was his quote, pertaining to those Ashkenazi Jews, Jewish people that are occupying their land as European settlers